Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2014 found footage horror film The Possession of Michael King, a film that is written and directed by David Young and it stars Shane Johnson as Michael King. Now this is a film that I saw not long after it first came out in 2014, but obviously I didn't have the channel then. But it's actually a film I forgot about for the most part, and when I was doing last year, I believe it was, my favourite top 10 found footage films, this didn't make it on the list, and that's primarily because I forgot about it. And this is a film, a very effective film, that focuses on Michael King, who he is on a mission to disprove the paranormal and the supernatural. And the reason for this is his wife went to visit a spiritualist medium who gave her some poor advice that ended up with his wife losing her life. She dies. So he's left as a single father to raise their daughter, and he's so bitter towards the paranormal and spiritualist mediums and all this kind of stuff. He's out to prove it wrong and prove it to be the hoax that he believes it is. So he gets his whole house covered in cameras, and he gets someone to follow him around with a camera, and his aim is to explore the supernatural and the paranormal and the demonic. And one of the ways he decides to do this is to try a few different avenues to try and get himself possessed by some demonic entity that he obviously doesn't believe in. He actually thinks it's quite funny at times, but he opens himself up to a few different avenues, and believe it or not, and it's not made clear which one, because he tries a few different ways. He tries to order a pack through the post to do it himself. He goes to some weird demonologist and another couple of places to try and invoke these spirits, and you're not really clear which one it is. It doesn't make it clear, but believe it or not, it actually starts working. And as this movie progresses, Michael King's sanity is brought into question by himself, and it becomes clear as the film progresses on that he is not alone, and he is indeed has an unwanted spirit within him. And when he starts believing it himself, he makes all the efforts to try and remove this spirit. Right, that's the general storyline here. Now, like I said, this is an incredibly effective found footage horror film. It's done really well, and the central performance by Shane Johnson as Michael King really sells this film. I think he does an outstanding job of a very broken and vulnerable man who is lashing out, if you like, and that is essentially the point of this film. It is because he was so weak spiritually, it obviously opened the door for something unnatural to enter him, and for much of the film you're not really sure what's going on, but it's done so creepily and so subtly initially. It could just be that there's like these insects on him and he can't get rid of them. Every time he kills one of them, another one appears, and he's constantly tired and hearing voices, and you don't know if it's his mental health, and it does a really good job of making you question what in actual fact it is. And then when it can't be questioned anymore, it moves into the other area, the horror side of it, so effectively. The scenes when he's creeping around the house at night, filming himself while this demonic entity is taken over, and the noises he makes, and this clicking and growling, and some of the things he gets up to, I mean, truly terrifying stuff. And the times he tries to confront it, and the things it does to him and says to him and makes him do, it's really an effective horror film. And especially when you consider that there's his daughter in the house, and there's such an amazing effective scene where his daughter keeps having nightmares, and at one point in the film, this is when he's fully pretty much fully in the thrust of the possession, even though he's still in control for the most part. His daughter says to him, I'm having nightmares about the bad guy or something like that, or the bad person's coming to get me, and the father says, "Oh, don't worry about it, it's not real," and then she says, "But the bad person's you, Daddy." It was just, it makes the hairs in the back of your neck stand up. So effectively done, and the horror, and he realizes what he's getting up to. It really hits home. So it keeps it on a human level. The idea of him losing his wife and raising his daughter was such a clever one, because it keeps him on like a human level, and it just doesn't become a bizarre experiment. He tries really hard excuse me, to cling on to his humanity, and the performance that he puts in is not just, it's not just the spoken performance, the physical performance as well. It must have been shattering and exhausting to do the role, because it just looked that way, the performance, both physical and verbal. A really powerful central performance that really sells the film, and it's a really super found footage horror film, this, and I think one of the strongest on the market, certainly in regards to possession films of this genre for found footage. So I strongly recommend it. I'm absolutely delighted that I've seen it again. I'm going to try and search it out and add it to my collection. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, and it's one I strongly recommend if you haven't seen it. It's very spooky, very creepy, some really effective scenes in it, and it's really well made too. So that's my review for The Possession of Michael King. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and share, and of course I'll see you next time on Screen Stars.